Alright guys, here we are with match 3 in our Black-Red Hollow One Modern League. And looking at this hand, I really don't think it's something I can keep. Not at all, actually. Street Wraith to maybe get us there for the land, but that's not good enough. So we're going to mull that away. And this hand looks a lot better with a turn 1 Faithless Looting, being able to pitch the Bloodghast in the graveyard. This looks significantly better. That Bolt, I actually think I'm going to put it on the bottom, just looking for a card that's a little bit more in line with my strategy here. And it looks like we're going to be playing against Tron. Not exactly a super fun matchup for this deck, so we'll see how this goes. Alright, so there's a Hollow One. That's very good. And it actually makes me wonder if we don't play the Faithless Looting turn 1 and play that turn 2 so we can get the Hollow One on the board then. Like if we draw into a Street Wraith, then it makes it look brilliant to play at turn 1, but I think there's too much of a chance we don't get to play the Hollow One this turn and don't get to play it next turn. So I'm just going to play a Bloodstained Mire here and pass the turn. Crack that for a Blood Crypt on their instep, and then kind of go off turn 2, because we'll be able to get that Bloodghast back on turn 2 as well. Alright, cracking their Chromatic Star into an Ancient Stirrings. I just passed priority throughout their turn, and I definitely do not want to do that. Okay, so they got an Expedition map from the Ancient Stirrings. And what, this just lets you grab a colorless card, right? Okay. Presuming they have another land in hand, they're probably going to be dropping this Expedition map here. Yeah, there's the forest, there's the Expedition map. This does look to indicate that they still need 2 different pieces of Tron, though, as opposed to just 1. So there is some hope there. No, I do not need to pay the 2 life, and I'm good. Alright, another Hollow One. So what I'm going to do here is play the Faithless Looting, of course. Hope I can draw into something a little more, because right now I can't play both Hollow Ones this turn. If I draw into that Street Wraith or something else that lets me discard, I can. But playing the Goblin Lore I think is just too risky at this moment. Oh wow, a third Hollow One. My goodness. Okay, so I'll discard my cards here. Now, again, I'm only going to get to play one of these this turn, sadly. But on the upside, next turn I can Goblin Lore and hopefully get at least one of these others on the field then as well. So I'll go ahead and play my Mountain. I will, in fact, get the Bloodghast back. And play this Hollow One. And then we'll just pass turn. Sadly, I won't have the mana here for the Phoenix, but there's no way I could have played this turn where I would have, other than just getting pretty lucky on a Goblin Lore, right? Alright, so they're sacking this on their turn. Going to grab one of the Tron lands, I'm sure. Now, one great thing, Power Plant looks like is what they got. One great thing this deck running red is going to have access to is, the Alpine Moon once Magic 19 comes out. And I don't know how effective that card's really going to be and how much of an effect it's really going to have, but it definitely does have the potential to shake things up, I believe. So I can play Goblin Lore here. And Goblin Lore will let me pitch away a lot of my hand, hopefully draw into a land to activate this Phoenix, hopefully keep at least one Hollow One, if not both. Or I could collect a Brutality, but that's really just not much. I think I have to take the chance here on Goblin Lore and to play it pre-combat in the hopes that I can find a land for that Phoenix. I did not, but I was very lucky. I actually milled a Hollow One, but still have these two in hand. So this is just a top-tier hand right now. I'll go ahead and go through combat. Not able to pay for the Phoenix. Attack with these guys for 6, and then play out my 2 other Hollow Ones, which this is just absolutely brutal right here. You know, we have 14 power on board, exactly their life for next turn, which just seems insane. You know, to be able to go through all 4 Hollow Ones, you know, even having one in the graveyard by the 4th turn of the game. Gosh, that was my 3rd turn of the game. That's just amazing. Very lucky there. Of course, to note that with them playing Field of Ruin, they are not going to see Tron this turn, and we have a Walking Ballista with only power of 1. So it can pick off the Bloodghast, but that's really it. And this turn, you know, I'm going to be getting the Phoenix back, so I'm just going to go straight into combat. I will absolutely pay for this Phoenix to get 2 more in the air. Yes. And then we're just going to make attacks. Now, the Ballista can block something and kill the Bloodghast, meaning I'm getting in for 10. So I'll be taking them to 4 here. But that still is very reasonable. I suppose... Yeah, I don't think I could have won it this turn. If I would have played the Collector Brutality, discarding a couple of things, I could have forced the Ballista not to get to block and to shoot this and then drain them for 2. I actually think that would have won me the game this turn. I feel like I'm still in a very comfortable spot, but playing the Collector Brutality was definitely the right play there, so that was a misplay. But it looks like it didn't actually really have much effect on the game there, so we're going to begin sideboarding. Now, what do I want here? I feel like, let's see. So they're probably going to be forcing out some very big creatures. Fatal Push doesn't seem good. Thoughtseize seems acceptable to be able to grab, you know, Ugins, Karns, just some of those cards that fetch out the lands, you know, like an expedition map or something, to try to keep them off of Tron. But I'm not sure it actually warrants, you know, skipping my strategy here. Ancient Grudge seems fine if I can kill those expedition maps prior to them actually going off. And honestly, that's the problem, is killing them before they go off. But I guess this does kill something like Wormcoil Engine, because I'm pretty sure this deck plays Wormcoil Engine. I'm going to take a couple of these, and that may not be the right choice, but I'm going to take a couple of those. I suppose cut some bolts, because I don't think bolts do a whole lot for me in this matchup. And then I can take a big game hunter in case they just force out something crazy. You know, like, what do they play? Like Endbringer or, you know, some of those big Eldrazi creatures, right? I don't know if the mono green version of the deck plays those. I'm not familiar enough with it, but... What else would I want to cut here? I could cut another bolt. Collector Brutality doesn't actually do a lot in this matchup, I don't think. It does what I would want Thoughtseize to do. No, it's even instant and sorcery. So Collector Brutality actually just seems actively bad in this matchup. So I could put in a Thoughtseize here. I could put in a bolt. I'm gonna just kind of take one of these bolts back. I'm not sure if that's actually the right move, but we'll see. Alright, for this being my opening hand, it does not look amazing. I can Burning Inquiry turn 1, but I don't actually have a lot to do after that. But I do kind of like Burning Inquiring on turn 1, but I also don't have any source of green mana here. My opponent is on a mull to 6. I'm going to mull as well. And now I don't have any mana. My opponent mulled to 5. I'm also going to mull to 5 at no mana. And we're going to have to keep this. It's not pretty, but it's what we're going to have here. I will keep as well. So it's possible I definitely should have kept that first hand, and if I would have known, of course, that my opponent was going to be on a mull to 5, then I would have, just because of the sheer card advantage. But, you know, there's no way of knowing that at the time. Faithless Looting off the top seems phenomenal, honestly. So I am absolutely keeping that on the top of my library. Alright, there's an Urza's Mine to start things out, and we are playing an Expedition map. Okay. Just going to play the Blood Crypt. Okay, so this isn't bad. I'm, of course, going to be tossing the Bloodghast, and realistically, I probably should toss one of these two Delve cards, because it's just not realistic for me to get both of them out. So I'm going to toss Tazagur here. And I will cycle Street Wraith, and I get another Bloodghast. Okay, that's fine. I will pass. Next turn I'll be able to get Bloodghast back from the graveyard. Then I'll only have 3 cards there. But I'll be able to play the other Bloodghast from my hand. Wow, they're going to have Tron here, even on their mull to 5. That is scary. Goblin Lore, if I'm lucky and keep the Angler, would actually still not let me cast it this turn, so I'm not going to do that. I don't want to risk throwing away really my only card I have going for me. So I'm going to play the Dragon Skull Summit and get both my Bloodghasts on the field. I do fear that with them having Tron available next turn, this is just a game that I am not long for, but we'll see. Alright, so they're going to crack this, get Urza's Tower. Alright, playing a Chromatic Sphere, so that tells me that they are seemingly still looking for something to play with these Tron lands, so that's a really good sign. Now, even though they assembled this being on 5 at the beginning of the game, you know, they may not have been able to find that threat in hand that, of course, they're looking for. And if they just keep kind of having bad top decks, that is definitely one way we can get back in the game here. Ooh, Oblivion Stone. Okay, so Oblivion, I'm just going to read this because it's been a very long time since I played against it. So 4 mana, you put a counter on a permanent, and then for 5 mana, you sack it and destroy each one without a counter on it. Okay. Alright, sounds actually, if we're being completely honest, acceptable with my board state, because if these things get destroyed, well, that's not a big deal at all. It's going to keep me from playing my Angler for a little bit, probably, here. Which, I think the move here is just going to be attack for 4. Play the Bloodstained Mire and crack it. And then I can cast Faithless Looting from my graveyard. I think that's just better than Goblin Lore here. Alright, I will get a mountain because I don't think there's any need for another dual land. We'll cast Faithless Looting. And we find a Hollow One and Flamewake Phoenix. Okay, so this is pretty good. So we can toss this Phoenix, and then we will toss the Goblin Lore here, I think. can't play the Hollow One this turn, can I? Don't have enough, I haven't discarded enough spells. I was going to say I could play the Hollow One, use it as kind of a, hey, you know, kill Oblivion Stone. Next turn, get my Blood Gas back and play Angler after Oblivion Stone's out. But I can't play Hollow One here either, so that makes me kind of want to keep Goblin Lore. I think it's kind of past the point probably where Stomping Ground is going to help me with those sideboarded Ancient Grudges, so maybe I toss it. But then I don't have a land to get back my Blood Gas. I still think Goblin Lore might just be the call here. Yeah. I'll eventually get to 5 mana to cast the Hollow One. Let me make sure. Yeah. I wanted to make sure I hadn't forgotten about discarding something at some point, but I cannot play that, so we will just pass the turn. Because I really don't see him cracking Oblivion Stone until I have another threat on the battlefield. So what will happen is I'm going to go ahead and attack with the Blood Ghasts, because otherwise, you know, if I put out a threat, he can just kill everything pre-combat, and then that loses me 4 damage. Take him to 12, and now I will cast the Gurmag Angler without playing the Stomping Ground, because I want to save that Stomping Ground to get my Blood Gas back. I know the plan was bait him out with Hollow One and then get Gurmag, because Gurmag's just a stronger card, but in this case, I just have to go this route. Because the sooner the Oblivion Stone's off the field, the sooner I can really just kind of get a little bit more into my game without just getting wiped out. Okay. And I know if I would have played this pre-combat, I could have got the Phoenix back, but again, the Oblivion Stone would have just killed all of that. I wouldn't have been surprised to see them crack the Oblivion Stone at the end of my turn there with all their mana up, but again, they seem to be having bad top decks, I presume, here. Alright, so we're going to go into combat. I'm going to go ahead and use the Phoenix's ability, no reason not to, really. And we're going to try to attack with everything. So yeah, there goes Oblivion Stone, which is fine. Entirely expected. And now I will play the Stomping Ground. Do I want to pay the 2 life? No, I don't think I want to do. No, there's no way I do. And then that will get me my Blood Gas back. I could try to play these Hollow Ones this turn, but I feel like my opponent is kind of out of gas here. So the Burning Inquiry just risks me throwing everything away, and I'm fine waiting till next turn where I have an extra card in hand to hopefully not do that. And in addition to that, the Burning Inquiry draws them 3 cards, and if I'm pretty sure their hand is pretty much dead right now, this is just a way to for them to get 3 more draws into some big bomb. Okay, Sylvan Scrying, they're going to get out a land card again. Playing that is looking at this point just like deck thinning and getting crazy amounts of mana. You know, I mean, really, it's just, at this point, the mana is only really a sink into a walking ballista, I guess. Alright, Flameblade Adept. I still can't cast Hollow One, of course. But I can cast the Flameblade Adept. I probably cast it on main 2. I don't think there's any way for me to get this Phoenix back without playing Burning Inquiry. And then if they don't do anything next turn, we may go ahead and play Burning Inquiry and throw Caution to the Wind, because that will make Flameblade Adept a lot bigger, as well as allowing me to get the Phoenix back because of how big Flameblade Adept is, and that should just be lethal if they can't get anything on the battlefield here. Okay, Sanctum of Ugin. That is scary. Okay, and another Oblivion Stone, which is bad news, obviously. Another land for me, which is not a bad thing, because I can just hard cast some hollow ones now. Yeah, I just go to attack in. They're going to crack the Oblivion Stone, I'm sure. I'm dealing 5 here. I'm going to get 2 of these 3 back. So, still not in a bad spot. So I'll grab these guys back, go ahead and crack my fetch, and then play a hollow one and threaten lethal on the board. Do not usually get to hard cast a hollow one, but today we do. I actually think this is the second match in the league that I've gotten to hard cast a hollow one here. Alright, so this is really the turn where if they draw something, then they can get this game turned around, but if they don't draw anything here, I think I just kind of got it wrapped up a little bit. Yeah, there's their end step. Alright, so we'll go to combat, pay for the Phoenix, just in case. I don't think there's much harm in not doing it. And then we are going to swing in. Okay, nature's claiming the hollow one. Okay, that's fine. Obviously, I don't win the game this turn. It gives them 1 more out, but I am dealing 6. I can't play this hollow one. I think I'm all right just keeping my board as is, in case they find another Oblivion Stone or something. Having this second hollow one in my hand allows me to just come back a little bit. Yeah, exactly. There's another Oblivion Stone. So I'm glad I didn't try to find a way to play hollow one there. I think I think the play here is to Ancient Grudge. I'm trying to figure out. I think I'd have to be very lucky. If I Ancient Grudge their Oblivion Stone, force them to do this, I don't have any way to get the Bloodghast or the Phoenix back guaranteed, and have a land. Like, I could Burning Inquiry and risk throwing my hollow one away, but I don't really want to do that. I guess if I found a land with it, though, that'd be okay. Alright, let's destroy the Oblivion Stone. Maybe they'll just scoop to this, presuming I have a land in hand or something. It'd be pretty cool, but they won't. They're playing it out, rightly so, because I don't actually have an answer to it. Alright, so I can be absolutely stupid and play a Burning Inquiry here, hoping I either find a land or don't discard my hollow one. Or I can hope they don't top deck something that's going to lose me the game. Screw it. I'm going to do it. Alright, I kept my hollow one. That's right. Okay, cast this. Get the Phoenix back. Oop, wrong color. Get the Phoenix. And it will fly over for the 2 I need. That was probably a stupid decision. I should have waited 1 more turn. I'm not sure there's any top deck that could have saved them from this point in the game, but, oh, I just felt like I could wrap it up here, so I wanted to try to. So there's our match. That makes me feel pretty good. Tron, you know, I don't actually know if it is technically a good matchup for this deck. You know, I haven't played it enough or Seen other people play the matchup enough to know whether it's favored or not, quote unquote, and I think it probably is, but it's a matchup I've struggled with personally. Just when I've been playing leagues or playing matches online, I haven't always had good luck against Tron, so I'm really excited to get this match, especially 2-0. Makes me feel pretty good here. So yeah, on to match 4 we go.